Ja, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe SI Interview und ich habe heute den Scott Taylor bei mir. Er ist Foremost Lithium Research and Technology, heißt die Company jetzt, früher unter Far Resources besser bekannt, haben sie am Jahresanfang umbenannt und ich kenne die Company eigentlich überhaupt nicht. Deswegen bin ich gespannt, was er uns präsentiert. Es gibt auch einen wirtschaftlichen Hintergrund, den zeige ich Ihnen auch gleich. Wenn man sich nämlich den Chart von Lithium anschaut, Lithiumcarbonate, dann ist dies seit Dezember explodiert. Ende November waren wir noch bei um die 200.000 und jetzt sind wir über 300.000. Das heißt, wir haben 50% zugelegt im Preis vom Lithiumcarbonate und deswegen stehen dann alle Lithium-Companies auch irgendwie in dem Fokus. Und also vom Jahresanfang brauchen wir gar nicht reden, weil da waren wir unter 50.000, also Jahresanfang 2021. Also in einem Jahr von 50 auf 300 zu gehen, das ist schon ein Wahnsinn. Und daher bin ich eben gespannt, wie er den Markt sieht, wie er davon profitieren will. Und der Scott selber kann auch Deutsch, er hat ja in der Schweiz auch teilweise gelebt. Aber wir werden trotzdem das Interview in Englisch führen. Es ist auf jeden Fall für beide Seiten dann wahrscheinlich einfacher. Scott, thank you for your time. And I said in my German introduction, first you changed the name from Far Resources to Foremost Lithium. And lithium is, I think, the best performing commodity in the last 12 months. I must say.
Absolutely.
So we're going up from $50,000 per lithium carbonate up to over 300,000 now. In the last month alone, we going up from 200,000 to 300,000. So this is unbelievable price increase. And you are a lithium company. So how you can take you as a company the profit out of this increase of the lithium carbonate price?
Yeah, so the first thing that we're doing is we're an exploration stage company. We've got some inferred resources that have been historically been drilled. The previous management back 2017 2018 put about 6 million Canadian into the ground into one of our three major projects called Zoro, which is in near Snow Lake, Manitoba. It sits directly abutting Snow Lake Resources, which is LITM on the NASDAQ exchange. So what we've decided to do is kind of like first to prove to ourselves that the end product, the spodumene bearing pegmatite dikes that host that lithium that's between 1% and 5% showing right now, that we can generate battery grade lithium. And so what we've done is we've applied for and we received a permit, I believe last week. That would be one of the most recent news releases where we received a permit, and we're going to take some of that ore from our Dike 1 on the Zoro project and ship it to SGS subsidiary company called Expert Process Solutions. And they've developed a flow sheet already for Frontier Lithium, which is FLV. They did exactly the same process back in October. And what they're going to do is they're going to take that ore, it's a 500 kilograms, and then they're going to run it through and demonstrate that we can numerically deliver battery grade lithium hydroxide. So what we're trying to get to is a 6% or greater concentrate that meets the technical specifications of what like an end user, for a battery manufacturing plant in Asia or North America, something that would go into an electric vehicle or would go into some type of consumer electronics. And so, if you look at as you mentioned before, the commodity prices have gone fairly much through the roof with a tightening global supply for both lithium carbonate and lithium hydroxide. For us, lithium hydroxide is going to align with battery grade commodity, and it's going to give our investors some confidence that even though we're still in an exploration stage, that the ore and the quality of the project that we have is something where we can continue to invest, continue to drill up and prove up more resources. But the end product is going to be something that we can start negotiating, with people like Tesla or with like LG or with other people that are building these gigafactories. The other thing that's really changed significantly, post-COVID here in both in Canada and the United States. The United States is a little bit further ahead than Canada, but they've classified lithium and bringing the supply chain for electric vehicles and for lithium ion battery storage is something that's going to be a strategic initiative. And President Biden has, injected about $500 million into that initiative. So there's going to be grants, incentive programs, but the idea is to have a stable, secure domestic supply, that's going to help spur this revolution, right? And I think that if you look at the prices increases in those commodities, that's self-evident that there's a tightening supply, and that there's a recognition or an awakening now from the governments both in Canada and the United States that we need to be able to do this here. So that's where we're trying to position the company. And that was the reason why we changed the company's name to align with that new strategic focus on lithium.
But maybe we can explain a little bit more about lithium. You have in your presentation that's two kinds of lithiums. One is Pegmatite and one is the Brine. So what is really the big difference from both, and we know exactly in South America the most of the lithium comes from these big salars, and they use a lot of water, what is not really environmental friendly process. So but on the other hand, we need it. We see it in the price that we need this lithium. That's one hand we have lithium. It's very environmental friendly, electrician cars and so on. So bring the CO down. And the other side we have these salars. They are really unfriendly environmentally, but we need the lithium. So, but maybe you can explain a little bit these two both kinds of lithiums.
So I'd say like more prevalent and traditionally, like, in the United States, in Nevada and Alabama, there's brine. So you're basically recovering a water solution that has a certain amount of minerals that are present in there. You extract that fluid in great quantities up to the surface, you filter it, and then you put it on these large pits. And so it'll look like large, football fields, soccer fields, but like much larger, where this brine is put out there and it's treated chemically to remove impurities, and then it sits and basically evaporates, for a long period of time. And then once it's gone into its crystalline salt form, then you can extract that and ship it off, and it's turn it into lithium carbonate. What we're doing is we're attacking what are called spodumene bearing pegmatite dikes. So the dikes are the feature that has pushed up to the surface through geological time, and it hosts lithium, and it might host some other rare earth minerals as well, like beryllium and tantalum and stuff like that. So the benefit for the spodumene bearing pegmatite dikes is, one, from an environmental footprint standpoint, it's a hard rock mine. So you're just basically like doing like you would on a historical high grade like gold or silver project where you're chasing an ore chute. We're doing the same thing. We're chasing a very specific structure, probably only going about 100 meters below the ground. And then you strip that out and you turn it into that either lithium carbonate or lithium hydroxide. And for us, the most favorable economics is to go towards lithium hydroxide. If you look in terms of like the speed, it's going to take us, it's a very quick process to go from having that ore that's been taken out of that ground, that raw ore, and turning it into that battery grade lithium hydroxide, vis-a-vis with the brine. The environmental footprint for what we're doing is far, far less, much less surface access that's required. And then the actual cost to go from that raw ore that we have and convert it into that battery grade product, lithium hydroxide, is less than what it costs to do with a brine.
Okay. Come to the single project. So the most advanced project of your company is this. What is the name of the
Zoro?
Zoro.
Yeah.
So okay, and what are the plans for the next 12 months or for this year? What you're doing on this project or the other ones?
Yeah, so the company received a $300,000 grant from the Manitoba Mineral Development Fund. We've executed a phase one program. I spent about a third of that capital on John Lake doing some airborne geophysics. We'll be releasing the interpretation of that result sometime in the next couple of weeks here. But basically, John Lake is the least developed of those two assets. So we're doing some initial airborne geophysics to try to understand the geophysical signature that you have for those two barrel pegmatites that we found, with boots on the ground analysis in the summer. And that was what was released to the market, I believe in September of last year. Mm-hmm. So that's those barrel pegmatites are the ones that have the same signature as Snow Lake's Thompson Brothers pegmatites. So that's one part of it. So then the next $200,000 for that grant, what we're going to devote it to is we're going to drill 10 new untested targets that our Vice President of Exploration, Mark Fedicow, has delineated with a mobile metal iron survey. So it's a geochemistry analysis that looks for anomalies of signature traces combined with other geophysical techniques. So these are 10 new potential dikes that we would try to delineate on Zoro. My goal is to have that work program going. It's a helicopter based drill program right now because it's very cold in the middle of winter. So there's no other way to do that. And we'll be looking to execute that project next month. Mm-hmm. That'll be a 1,500 meter program. If we hit on one or more of those dikes, then we will go back and we will infill drill and do that in a more judicious manner on those specific targets that we've delineated to the NI 43-101 standards. And the goal there is to improve the total tonnage of inferred and indicated resources for the company this year.
And you plan 10 undrilled targets in this round with 1,500. How deep you drill normally then?
Yeah, so it's just 1,500 meters, so it's 150 meters for each one of these tested targets. It's not deep drilling. Okay.
So for every target you have one drill hole and see what you find out. Okay, I understand. So General, what do you plan then with the other projects, or do you focus on Zoro?
No, so then with Jean Lake, what we're going to be once we finish that interpretation, what we're going to do is that's going to define additional spodumene bearing pegmatites that have that what we call barrel pegmatites. So it's just a different mineralogy. It's a higher grade rock that we've seen. So it's grading at the surface between 3.5% and 5.25%. So that's a very, very rich spodumene bearing pegmatite dike with the showings of that lithium. And what we'll be doing with that interpretation is proving up that structural trend that sits along that Crodock fault that connects with the Snow Lake resource. And that will define where we're going to send a boots on the ground geophysical and geological team just to go and confirm the signatures that we've seen from the airborne geophysics. And then that's going to give us our round one of drill targets that we'll go back and test. And we'll be testing that with, I would say, probably something around like a 5,000 meter drill program. So something that's much more comprehensive. Further to that, we are looking to pick up more land in the area. Mm-hmm. That's something that is not yet complete, but it's something that we'll be putting some news out here quite soon on that matter. And then we have another project that has also been historically drilled by previous management called Hidden Lake, which is up in what we call the Northwest Territories of Canada. Mm-hmm. That project has some exciting initial results, and we'll be looking to pick up some more land to make it more favorable from an economic standpoint. And we'll be looking to go, again, do a work program. So that all of that, should be stuff that's coming out here in the first quarter as we get those plans put in place and solidified.
Wow, it sounds like a busy first quarter.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, but it's understandable when the price is hot, you must do something.
Yeah, I mean, when you're given this opportunity and the market conditions are favorable, it makes it easier to raise capital. We've got some very, very strong long-term investors. And so what we've been doing is converting options and warrants right now. So we haven't done any more like non-dilutive financings like the previous management did. I will continue to do that until we've got the share price up to, let's say like 2 to 2.5 times higher than what it's at right now. And then we'll look at doing a private placement sometime there, but we're not going to do that in the first quarter and dilute the current shareholders any further.
Okay, but your share price moved well in the last 2 months. So
yeah, it did okay. I mean, this is just the start. I mean, it's kind of an embarrassing position where it started at. I think we're just starting with the new management team and with myself, like actually showing like some sense of urgency and putting out an action plan, and people are starting to see that these milestones are being hit one by one. The price is going to keep moving with that. People want to see execution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you.
These are beautiful assets. We've got a great technical team. That the real problem this company has suffered on for the last 3.5 years is just incompetent management that sat and twiddled their thumbs and didn't do anything, and broken promises. They would message stuff to the market and news releases, and they didn't execute anything, and that's completely unacceptable.
Mm-hmm. How many shares are outstanding?
161 million.
161 million. And do you have any bigger groups out of it? So the bigger shareholder groups?
Yeah, it's mostly retail investors right now. Okay. So, it's not something that's widely held by institutions. I have initiated a process to uplist the company onto a higher grade of the OTC markets in the United States. So right now it's an OTC pink, which is the kind of the lowest level of sort of transparency and rating that you can have. So that's not really conducive. It restricts. Basically, it's impossible for institutional investors in the United States. They're not allowed to trade in those.
OTC pink sheet is a red flag in Germany area.
Absolutely. So I know it's a red flag too. So I'm fixing it. So I started the process just before Christmas with the exchange to uplist it. I just paid the fees yesterday, for the application for the listing. So, it's just a matter of process at this time, but that's happening. So we'll be going on to the QB. And then once we've exceeded a $50 million market cap, so just a little bit further to go here in the first quarter, hopefully we can get up to the QT exchange.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This was a very interesting quick introduction. So to summarize a little bit, in the first quarter, we see some drilling untested targets, especially in the Zoro. Then we're coming up with geophysics in the Chain Lake.
So we're going to make a thesis that will show that we've got a connection or not with the Thompson Brothers barrel pegmatites, is what Snow Lake holds. Yeah. And so it should be one linear trend, which is hosting these high grade deposits. That's all sort of the same mineralogy, and we should be able to determine that.
Okay. And after that, you're planning a 5,000 meter drill program to go further and to higher resources and so on. So it's a very busy next 3 to 6 months, I must say.
Yeah.
And a great news flow, hopefully too. And the share price doing well. Yeah, I must say, from my standpoint, from 10 cents up to 34 is a great performance. But it's you don't plan, not in the first quarter, a private placement, then you think your share price can go even higher.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I think it was a first great, wonderful interview. We are close to 20 minutes. And I must say thank you for the Interview. Ja, das war jetzt das erste Interview mit Foremost Lithium, und sie haben eigentlich mehrere Projekte, aber ein großes Projekt, wo sie am meisten machen, ist das Zoro Lithium, oder das ist am meisten fortgeschritten. Dort planen sie auch, obwohl Winter ist und dort in Manitoba ist es richtig kalt, also da ist das, was wir jetzt draußen haben, nichts. Also da geht es noch viel schneller, viel kälter, und die planen dort ein 10 Bohrprogramm, um 10 ungetestete Anomalien zu testen, ob dort irgendwas ist. Dann machen sie bei Chain Lake Lithium eine geophysische Studie, wo sie feststellen wollen, ob das im selben Trend ist wie Snow Lake, damit sie dieses geologisches Modell sozusagen testen. Sollte das dann dementsprechend getestet werden, wo sie davon auch überzeugt sind, wollen sie ja 5000 Meter pro Programm nachlegen. Was sehr spannend war, ist, sie haben sie ja umbenannt, sie haben Managementwechsel gehabt, man sieht es im Sharepreis, der Aktienkurs ist sensationell, meines Erachtens finde ich sensationell entwickelt, von fast 10 Cent rauf auf 34 Cent innerhalb der letzten 2 Monate. Er sagt, es kommen jetzt Warrants rein, die ausgeübt werden, Options rein, die ausgeübt werden, das soll auch so weiter sein. Sie planen kein Private Placement im ersten Quartal, erst dann, wenn der Aktienkurs noch höher ist. Und was auch extrem wichtig ist, sie machen ein Uplisting von OTC Pink. Sie wissen, Pink Sheet ist eine rote Flagge in Deutschland, das geht gar nicht. Sie machen so OTC QB und das ist halt ein viel höher regulierter Markt und dadurch auch viel besser und dadurch können auch die Amerikaner dann einkaufen. Wir selber, für uns ist ja kein Problem, die Aktie notiert an der CSE und sie notiert in Frankfurt. Wir kamen nicht auf die Idee, in OTC was zu machen, aber für die Amerikaner ist es extrem wichtig, denn der Lithiumpreis, der ist ja explodiert. Ich meine, wir haben sich versechsfacht in den letzten 12 Monaten. Da sieht man, wie stark die Nachfrage ist und das wird sich nicht so schnell beruhigen, denn in einer Präsentation haben sie auch noch wirklich eine schöne Grafik drinnen gehabt bezüglich, wo sie sitzen und wer da alle in Amerika zum Beispiel rundherum ist. Nicht nur Tesla, sondern da sind halt auch LG Chem ist auch drinnen. Es sind viele, die alle ihre Gigafacts aufbauen und die brauchen allerdings alle Lithium, damit sie halt ihre Batterie machen können. Und das ist halt, und das Lithium ist momentan nicht da, deswegen ist der Preis auch dort so. Und das wird sich nicht so schnell ändern. War ein interessantes Startinterview. Schauen wir mal, wie es jetzt in den nächsten 3 Monaten, was sie an News so produzieren und ich hoffe, dass wir dann auch die Chance haben, noch mal ein Update zu machen, weil dann sieht man auch die Daten schon, was rauskommt und dann weiß man auch, was sie dann für die nächsten quasi oder für den Rest des Jahres 2022 machen wollen. Scott, thank you for your time again. Good luck. Hopefully we have time to do another round, another interview in 3 or 4 months when you have all this data coming back and then we see and hopefully we have a higher share price and maybe lithium going up to 500,000. I don't know. Everything is possible. So good luck with your drilling. Good luck with the new year, I must say, and we see us in a few months.
Vielen Dank.
Danke.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.